Good day everyone, this is Bigmer Kahayag, second year student taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics at Visayas State University, Tolosa Campus. In this video, I am tasked to explain what numbers from 2 to 12 completely divides of 365 sextillion, 836 quintillion, 886 quadrillion, 537 trillion, 624 billion, 343 million, 154,211. Let's break down the question into simpler parts and check each number between 2 and 12. First, we have to try this number 2. This number is a factor if the units digit of 365 sextillion, 836 quintillion, 886 quadrillion, 537 trillion, 624 billion, 343 million, 154,211 is even. It ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. The unit digit is 1, so 2 is not a factor. Now, let's proceed to number 3. This number is a factor if the sum of the digits of 365 sextillion, 836 quintillion, 886 quadrillion, 537 trillion, 624 billion, 343 million, 154,211 is divisible by 3. To find the sum, we add up all the digits 3 plus 6 plus 5 plus 8 plus 3 plus 6 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 7 plus 6 plus 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 1 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 is equals to 92. Since 92 is not divisible by 3, 3 is not a factor. Now let's proceed to number 4. This number is a factor if the last two digits of the given numbers are divisible by 4. The last two digits are 11, which is not divisible by 4, so 4 is not a factor. So let's proceed to number 5. This number is a factor if the units digit of the given number is 5 or 0. It is neither, so 5 is not a factor. Now, let's take number 6. This number is a factor if the number is divisible by both 2 and 3. We already know that 2 and 3 are not factors, so 6 is not a factor. Now, let's move on to number 7. There is no easy rule for divisibility by 7, so we need to use a method similar to what we did before. We take the last digit multiplied by 2 and subtract from the rest of the numbers. We repeat this process with the new number until we get a small enough number to check by hand. Let's try this with the given numbers. Since that the last digit is 1, we multiplied it by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. Then subtract 2 from the given numbers. So it gives us 365 sextillion, 836 quintillion, 886 quadrillion, 537 trillion, 624 billion, 343 million, 154,209. Now, the last digit is 9, so take it and multiply it by 2. So 9 times 2 is 18. Subtract 18 from the given number. So it gives us 365 sextillion, 836 quintillion, 886 quadrillion, 537 trillion, 624 million, 154,191. Now, we have much smaller number and it's easier to check by hand whether the result number is divisible by 7. Actually, dividing it by 7 by hand proves that it's not divisible by 7. Therefore, 7 is not a factor. Now, let's move on to number 8. This number is a factor if the last 3 digits of given numbers are divisible by 8. The last 3 digit numbers are 211, which is not divisible by 8, so 8 is not a factor. Now, let's proceed to number 9. This number is a factor if the sum of digits of the given numbers is divisible by 9. We already found that the sum is 92, which is not divisible by 9, so 9 is not a factor. Now, let's move on to number 10. This number is a factor if the units digit of the given number is 0. It is not, so 10 is not a factor. We can also use alternating sum rule for 11 that we used before. Let's see if it is divisible by 11. Since negative 8 is the result, it is not divisible by 11. So 11 is not a factor. Now let's proceed to number 12. This number is a factor if the number is divisible by both 3 and 4. We already know 3 and 4 are not factors, so 12 is not a factor. Now, in summary, none of the numbers between 2 and 12 are factors of the given numbers.